Right, we're going to try this paper. It's January 22. Right, this is the first question. You're blowing air, or you're breathing down there. The air will split up. Now, when you're breathing in, the air will go here and it'll just touch the surface here. Right. Whilst here, the air will go down and it'll bubble through. Now, they've highlighted that they've got lime water in there. And we know, what do we know? We know lime water is used to test for carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. So we know that. So this will turn cloudy. This little bit at the top might turn cloudy. And yeah, what this will do is this will stop fresh air coming in. It'll stop fresh air coming in. The pressures equalize, so they've gone to the same height. Right, okay, done. Right, let's look at the question. The student breathes into and out of the mouthpiece for 1 minute. So this here is the mouthpiece here. There, the mouthpiece. Explain which flask the exhaled air. Exhaled means the one that you breathe out. You breathe out, yeah. So what's going to happen is air's gonna come out here, and it's gonna go down here, and it's gonna stay in this area here. Whilst here it'll be forced through as bubbles, like we said earlier. Right, so we can say flask B as the long tube is connected to the or dips into the lime water. So bubbles will pass through the lime water. Right, it'll go through here and then it'll go back out here. Whilst with this, the air pressure has to be so great to push all this down and all the liquid up for the exhaled air to go out. So, and that's not going to happen. Explain the changes that will happen in the lime water in flask A and flask B. Right, because you're bubbling through. Let me just get rid of all this. Right, okay. So now you've got bubbles. You've got bubbles of CO2. So we know lime water turns cloudy or milky. when CO2 is bubbled through. There's nothing bubbling through this here, so that will stay clear, or you might get a layer of a little bit of cloudiness at the top as the CO2 sort of dissolves in there because it's soluble. So we'll say in flask A, the lime water stays clear. We could say turns slightly or cloudy. And in flask B, the lime water turns milky, as expected. Yeah, and it turns milky quicker. I'll be much more milky. Right. The student used lime water to compare the composition of exhaled and inhaled. Suggest an alternative substance. Okay. The composition of exhaled air. Right, another one that you need to do is to show the concentration. Right. According to the math scheme, this is what's happening. To work out the concentration rather than the presence of CO2, use something called, and I always forget this, sodium hydrogen carbonate indicator. And if you've got low, let's do it the other way. You've got high levels, normal levels, and low levels. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be yellow, red, purple. So at normal levels it's red. When you've got an increase or it's high, it's going to be yellow, and when it's low levels of CO2, it's purple. Again, that's a good one to know. So that's sodium hydrogen carbonate indicator. There you go. Describe the role of the diaphragm in intercostal muscles. Okay, yeah. So it's basically breathing. What happens when you breathe? So there's your rib cage, there's your diaphragm, those are your ribs, your costals, and you have external and internal intercostal muscles. Right, so the first thing that happens is the diaphragm flattens or contracts. The diaphragm muscles contract, causing. I'll tell you what, let's not make it complicated. And the diaphragm, if I can spell it, the diaphragm flattens. Let me write this in caps. Well, I should write in a different color really, rather than caps, but continue. This increases the volume in the thorax or the chest cavity and decreases the pressure. Right. The external intercostal intercostal, that just means costal is a rib, inter means between. The muscles here, those are the external ones, these are the internal ones. So they relax, they contract, and the whole rib cage moves up. Yeah, the external intercostal muscles contract, and the internal intercostal muscles relax, pulling the rib cage up, increasing the volume in the thorax and decreasing the pressure as well. So it has, so they both have that effect, decreasing pressure. So now you have low pressure here and outside, so just say that's your nose, that's your mouth, that's your body. Yeah. So now you have high pressure here, or higher pressure compared to the inside. High pressure. So air will move into the cavity. So air moves into the lungs from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure. Right, I think that's it. So that's how you breathe. That's ventilation. Right, let me just highlight this. Right, ventilation is not the same as respiration. This here is reactions taking place in a cell. This is air moving in and out of your lungs. Right, let's keep going. Whoa, big flowers. Okay. Right, you've got your, does it say? Right, okay. P is the anther, that is the petal, that's your flower stem really, and too well. There you go. Right. So this is the structure. Where are we? Right, will that do it? Yes. So the stigma is where the pollen grain lands. The stigma is linked to the ovary. And then you've got the ovules, which contain the ova, which contain the egg. Right, then you have here the anther here, where the pollen's produced, the filament, and together they call the stamen. The stigma, the style, and this structure here, the ovary and the ovules, is called the carpel. And oh right, okay, I didn't know that. These little green parts that there are called sepals. Sepals? Sepals. Right, okay, so if we compare it to this here, that there, yeah, okay, we've labeled that the anther, and then this one will be linked to the ovary or the ovule, so it's called the stigma. Got the stem, we've got the petal. Right, okay. It's good to keep going over this stuff. Right, okay. Which of these is the anther? It is yeah. Which of these is the name for structure? Yes, just the petal. The petal there. On which structure do pollen grains germinate? Where they produced germinate. There. Okay, stigma. Structure D. S. Okay. Not structure D. D. The structure's S. Wow, this is. Should I make it smaller? Doom. It's causing my brain to fry up. Okay, that's it. This always causing me grief. This bit. Oh, there. Now I can go back. So let's just go through that again. Let's just go through that again. So you've got your anther. You've got your stigma. You've got your petal. And that's just a flower stem or plant stem. Okay. Describe how the structures P, Q, S, okay, would differ from A. So let me just go. Right. So if you look here, this is from the book. How would it differ? So if you look at the stigmas, they've got a much bigger surface area to catch more pollen. So the stigma is larger, or what they've used the word more feathery. You can say larger, and hangs outside to catch more pollen. More pollen. Right, what else do we see? So that's that. And then you've got the anther, which is exposed to wind. So try another one. Let's try another one. Oh, silly. Causing trouble. Right, let's see if we can get through this. The anther is outside the flower, so can be exposed to wind to allow pollen to be dispersed onto the next plant or flower or tree. Right, okay. Right, you also notice that it has smaller petals because it doesn't need to attract smaller petals, and it doesn't need to attract insects. Smaller petals and not colored, as it does not need to attract insects. Done. Right. Right. Plants can also reproduce by asexual reproduction. So there's two. There's sexual reproduction and there's mean not sexual reproduction. Asexual, you've got your two gametes, your sperm and your egg. And asexual, you can have runners, you can have tubers, you can have bulbs. Right, you can use any one of those runners. Give one artificial method, plant grower can reproduce. Right, okay. So there's your plant. You can cut this here and then put it in the right conditions and it'll grow into a separate plant. So these are called cuttings. You have to learn about micropropagation. Another thing what people do is there's your plant. If I take this and I graft it onto here, then that will grow as part of that plant. That's called grafting. I've seen one or two videos on it. It's quite interesting. Then, so for example, this produces nice sweet apples, and we don't know if this is going to produce nice sweet apples. So if we graft this onto here, you know that this will produce nice sweet apples. Suggest why a plant grower may choose to reproduce a plant asexually rather than reproduce sexually. You know that genetically they will be identical, genetically identical. So what's going to happen? So flowers, that's important for flowers. You want them a certain shape, size, color, smell, and you're guaranteed that. It's faster faster to reproduce. They may be rare, so this might be the only way to produce them. Right, okay. What we're going to do is, let me just make that a bit bigger. We'll do this on the next video. It looks like a carbon dioxide cycle. Right, okay, that's it.